How to increase your credit score by 100 points. Did you know that if you have a credit score over 720, you will save about $12,000 on average versus someone with a credit score less than 620? Yeah, it's true. So let's talk about how you get that credit score up 100 points so that you can save at least $12,000. Let's go.
Noel. Yeah, she can fix that. If you gotta get it done, or you need to do it better, well, she can fix that. Yeah, she can fix that. Investment to get back, trying to get a big stack. She can fix that. Let's fix that.
So when we are talking about credit, we are talking about personal credit. We're talking about the 3 credit bureaus that exist. Many of you guys already know. We have Experian, we have TransUnion, and we have Equifax. When it comes to personal credit, we have those 3 credit bureaus, and they will report all of the different trade lines and debts that you have. For example, if you have credit cards, student loans, auto loans, or mortgage, those will all report on your credit report as trade lines. They'll report what the credit balance is, what the high credit limit is, and how well you've paid them. Additionally, based on how well you pay your bills, what your debt utilization is, and what your debt ratio is, they will give you what's called a FICO score. So when we are talking about credit scores, we're usually talking about your FICO score. And we usually, again, have 3 different bureaus and they will all give you a similar score, usually. So if you have like a 700 with Equifax and a how it works with mortgages. However, with credit cards, for example, most lenders have a specific credit reporting agency that they usually use. Okay. So that's really how personal credit works. And we know when you are going to get money, you're going to borrow money, get a loan, get a credit card or something like that, that lender is going to pull your personal credit report and they are going to look at your credit score. And your credit score really does matter to your savings account. The higher your credit score is, the more credit you have access to and the lower the interest rates that you will pay will be, saving you money. If you have a low credit score, one again below 620 as an example, you are going to have less access to credit and you're also going to pay higher interest rates. No bueno. Okay, so let me tell you how to get that credit score up quickly so that you don't have those issues anymore and you pay the lowest rates available. So the first thing that you want to do when we are talking about increasing your credit score is you have to actually know your credit score. That's kind of a trick question, but it's true. You got to know your own credit score. So one of my recommendations is that you pull your credit score. Now, yes, you absolutely can pull your credit score for free or your credit report for free using annualcreditreport.com. Below, one of my preferred companies that gives you a really good credit score is myfico.com. Yes, guys, I know Credit Karma and all these other ones exist, but they don't usually give you a good example of what your FICO score is. And I have found that MyFICO gives you a very accurate score of what the lenders are seeing. And so you can use that link below and again, spend a little bit of money just to find out what your credit score is, because that is going to be step 1 to actually increasing your credit score. You got to know where you are before you can get 100 points more, right? Okay. So if you know anyone that can benefit from hearing this video, make sure you go ahead and give it a share, and please make sure you smash that like button so that I can keep bringing you content like this with all of this information completely free. So now that you know what your credit score is and you have pulled your credit, awesome. What you're going to do is pull out a pen and a paper and you're going to go through every single thing that you see on your credit report, because everything does kind of matter for the score a little bit. You want to make sure there's not extra names up there that are not your names. You want to make sure there are addresses up there that are not your addresses, because the next step to cleaning up your credit is seeing all the things that are incorrect about your credit. You need to go through and find all of the discrepancies, all of the things that are incorrect, because our next the time and go through the credit report, your credit report, and highlight all of the discrepancies, the errors, and the inaccuracies so we can go into the next process of getting it cleaned up. The next thing you want to do now that you've decided and you see that there are incorrect things or there are late payments or different things, you are going to start to dispute things. I know this sounds a little bit crazy. Like, what do you mean I'm going to dispute it? Yes. So the awesome thing about personal credit is the burden of proof is on the person that reported it. I'm going to give you a big secret here, guys. As a former VP at 2 of the major banks, Chase and Wells Fargo, yeah, I'm saying names, I know a lot about credit. And one of the things that I know is that the proof of burden is on the lender. So if they have reported that you've paid them late or you didn't pay them or something happened, it is on them, okay, to prove that that information is correct. So you literally are going to be able to start to dispute anything that you think is not accurate or that they may not be able to prove that will fix your credit. So if, for example, you have late payments up there, you can dispute them. If you feel like, no, I didn't pay that late, I don't remember that, I don't recall that, you can go ahead and dispute that, all right? And I'm going to give you a letter for free below that you can access to use this to start disputing your accounts and your trade lines to clean your credit up. That is step one. But before you do this, I'm going to give you a quick little thing. You want to go ahead and freeze your credit. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about that because before you start sending the dispute letters, you're going to go ahead and you're going to freeze your credit report. You don't want anybody else adding anything up there. You don't want anyone changing anything for about a month or two. So you don't want anybody adding new things or checking your credit or doing anything like that. You're working on something. So you go ahead and you send a link to all of the 3 bureaus and you tell them to lock your credit, freeze my credit. All right, so make sure you do that. So now that we have cleaned up the credit, let me tell you some secret sauce on getting your credit score up 100 points. Let me start by telling you though, I started off with really, really bad credit. So those of you know me, some of you know me, some of you don't, but I literally am a real estate millionaire, mentor, and mom of 5 today. But that is not, I was flipping houses and I lost everything. I ended up with bankruptcies and multiple foreclosures on my credit report. I was literally a disaster and had to move back in with my parents. While I was in my parents' basement, I started to pull myself out of the dirt. I learned a few things about real estate investing, primarily wholesaling, where I could start finding people that were having property problems similar to the ones that I was having, and I could start making money by wholesaling those deals. I could do it with bad credit and with no money because all I was doing was finding properties that people were having property problems with and then getting those properties under contract and then flipping those contracts to other investors for a fee. It was amazing. But I'm going to tell you, it was not easy because I had bad credit. I needed to fix my credit. I just could not stay in that position. I had to swallow my pride. I had to literally go to my dad and ask him if he would put my name on his credit cards, okay? He put me on what's called as an authorized user, and this boosted my credit score intensely. Let me tell you about it. So with my bad credit, guys, let me tell you on the secret sauce, because you can do this with almost anyone and it's not really a big risk to them. You can get added to someone's credit cards as an authorized user, meaning they are still financially responsible for that credit card, but you get access to use that credit card and they will report that credit card on your credit report. This is the secret sauce to getting your credit fixed, guys. I can't believe I waited so long to ask, but you can find someone that has very good credit and you can get added to their credit card as an authorized user. Those trade lines, those credit cards will start to report on your credit report. So if they've had a credit card that they got 10, 20 years ago, all of a sudden on your credit report, there's this trade line from 10 years ago that's reporting with this high balance and it's paid on time, and it will really boost your credit score up. I've seen it boost people's credit scores up 100 points, especially if you get someone to add you as authorized user on an American Express. Okay, that's like the big one. So the bigger the limit, if they have like a Chase card with like a $10,000 or a $20,000 limit or a $40,000 limit, those are the credit cards that you want to be added as an authorized user to. And here's what I'm saying. There's no risk to them. They do not have to give you that credit card, like physically hand you that credit card in order for it to report on your credit report. Boom. So that is how you really get your credit score, guys. Increase. Don't share that with everyone. In the wrong hands, that could be dangerous information, but it boosted my credit score up over 100 points by doing this with some major credit cards. And again, now I was able to get my own credit cards, and I've even been able to help other people fix their credit doing that same thing. The next thing, when it comes to credit and getting that credit score up, of course, these are just some basic things that you should already know, but I'm going to share with you. You want to make sure you are paying all of your bills on time. So if the credit is due on the 10th, pay it by the 10th, okay? I don't care if you have to borrow the money from someone. I don't care if you have to take the money off of the credit card and then use that money to pay the credit card bill. I don't care what you have to do, guys, because as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, I have done all kinds of things to make sure that my credit stays intact. But you need to make sure that you are paying all of your credit cards, especially the credit cards, on time. This is how you will get your credit scores over 700. It's really going to have a lot to do with how you use those credit cards, that you're not using them up to the limit, that you're staying really way below 30% utilization. So again, using as an example, if you had a credit card and had a $1,000 limit, you would never, ever, ever want it to be reported where it was over $300 charged on that card. I don't care what it is. You really want to keep it under 30%. 30 is like the absolute max. In fact, I actually would say keep it even lower than that. And that's why I have a Ziploc baggie full of credit cards, because I will use all of them and put a little bit on each of them rather than putting too much on one card and tanking my credit score. You really got to know that it really does matter the utilization of what the limit to the balance is and how well you are paying them. They're going to phenomenally affect your credit score. So make sure you're paying things on time. Make sure your credit cards are nowhere near the limits. If you need to get additional credit cards, do that. Transfer balances, whatever you need to do to keep those credit card balances less than 30% of the limit. Or another simple solution is you can literally call the credit card company and ask them to increase the limit so that you can stay beneath that 30%, and that will increase your credit score as well. Okay, guys, this is Noelle. I love you so much. So I had to give you a bonus because this is the secret. Like, this is the big secret on how you can have great personal credit and never have to worry about it again. This is what Noelle does. I use business credit, guys. Once I got out of that situation, like I told you, where I had bankruptcies and foreclosures and I was in my parents' basement like a loser. Once I finally got my credit score back in order, I don't even use my personal credit anymore. I use business credit. You can literally use just your business credit. If you are a business, if you have a business, you literally can have all of your credit cards, all of your cars, all of your houses, pretty much everything in your business's name. And this video would be 30, 40 minutes long if I told you all of the benefits, how you're protecting your assets, all of these different things of doing it and putting in your business name. But if you want to have great personal credit like forever, probably need to just get away from personal credit altogether. The big boys, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, I promise you, Donald Trump, I doubt they care about what their personal credit score is. You really want to create a business entity and create a business credit report for that business and then just use business credit. Because two, you can duplicate it. You can start new businesses and create business credit profiles for every business that you have and end up with millions of dollars in business funding, which is what I do. So that's the secret sauce, guys. Fix your personal credit because you should, and that will access even more business credit. But the secret sauce is you're not even going to use your personal credit cards ever again. All right, guys, I shared and I absolutely love you guys so much. So make sure you go ahead and you click that like button. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Click that little notification bell so you don't miss any of this content that I am bringing to you every single day. This is Noelle. I want to make sure that you have all of the resources, all of the tools, and all of the knowledge that you need to be successful. This is Noelle. To your success.